Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, since Apex Arena is going to be beginning this week, I thought I would cover the mercenaries that are available for use this starting week of Apex Season 2. So let's quickly go over the 10 mercenaries that are available for use. And the very first one is Elwin from Salraf servers, player 24M. Just taking a quick look, I mean, this is an infantry Elwin with very surprisingly low attack value enchant overall. For example, there's speed boots that has 7% attack, but there's only 8% attack on the exclusive Errant Knight. And then another 2%, and then a 4% there. So in total, this is 14% plus 7%, which is just a mere 21% attack increase. Clearly, 24M uses this Elwin for the occasional PvE fight, where he needs a high mobility Elwin. It's completely not a PvP oriented one. So, definite pass, despite the high power, at least for PvP purposes. If this Elwin ends up running into, I don't know, a Landius tank, I suppose Sword Soul could prevent it from healing, but then the fact that it's infantry is a huge disadvantage. So, moving on. Leon. I mean, Leon is not considered a top tier PvP character in general, period. So I'd say pass just right there. Doesn't even matter what power it's at. Ledin, pretty much the exact same scenario. And this Ledin also has a mithril armor instead of a SSR armor. So that reduces its hit point values, as well as the defense value it has. It does have the icing chance, which is actually quite good for PvP purposes, but overall, despite that, I think this Elwin is a pass in general. I mean, if you desperately need a tank for PvP and this Ledin may be worth considering. In my case, I have Juggler and Landius. There's no reason to fit Ledin in. Next, Iris. So this Iris is actually surprisingly well built. It has the crystal enchant with the goddess's left hand for additional healing, and the advantage is Iris generally doesn't need to attack, but in the case where this Iris does, she can apply the mobility reduction debuff on the enemy. Also has a Sage's Hat, which has a 10% hit point increase enchant on it. And so clearly it looks like this Iris has focused on hit point buffs. Right? 9% int, 5% hit points. 11% int with 71 hit points. Another 10% int there. And then a teddy bear with 6% int, 14 int, and 5% hit points. So that 14 int, given the 400 base int, is effectively makes this more or less 10% int increase with 5% hit point increase. So while this Iris will not attack very well, since it's purely since that's the crystal enchant, of course. It is an amazing healer by the talent, and it has all the skills, and most importantly, it has the teddy bear, which increases the effect of single-use assist skills by one turn, which means her teleport skill, Le Jardin Iris, will have the 20% increased damage and 20% reduced damage taken lasts for 3 turns rather than 2. And Dolly is going to be interesting. I'm not sure if Dolly lasts 3 turns or not. I think it may, right? Because Dolly ultimately is a single target strike skill herself, and it gives this buff. So I think Dolly is going to last 3 turns as well, which makes the teddy bear an amazing accessory for Iris. So in fact, this Iris is good enough that I'm going to replace my own one with this one, at least for this first week. So, after that, let's look at Sakura Shinguchi. And the power level on Sakura is surprisingly low, right? 54, 59. Keep in mind, power is affected by your own soldiers. So for example, that's why my Exorcists drop my power down so low, because they're not leveled up. Whereas my Zealots are only level 7, I believe. And then if I go to Infantry, Dark Guards, the power goes to 56, 16. So there's something to keep in mind. The power is affected by your own soldiers rather than, I think. But in any case, looking at this gear, this Sakura has actually really good gear. Divine Boots, while not giving attack like Apex Boots, still gives her +1 mobility, which is pretty key for Sakura. And there's this 8% int increase here, 8% attack increase here. It has one of the best weapons for Shinguchi Sakura, which is her Aqualin Ghost Blade, with a 15% attack increase enchant. So it's considered one of her best because the other one that works really well on her is Balance Blade. It has a Reaper's Breath, so when she kills something, she can apply a debuff on the enemies. And this Reaper's Breath also has a 3% attack increase with +3 attack. And finally, it has a Mirror Armor with a 4% attack increase. So this was a full attack focused Sakura, which is why her power is so low, because there's not any real hit point increase in chance. I would have liked to see more hit point increasing in chance on this, but I understand that trying to roll for, let's say, 5% attack increase with 10 to 15% attack, 10 to 15% hit point increase, it's pretty hard. You're going to need to roll a lot of enchants to try to get something like that. And overall, these are very strong enchants, all things considered, right? 15% plus 4, plus let's say another 4, plus another 8. So that is 8 plus 8, let's say. 16 plus 15 is 31% attack increase. So, and in terms of class, it has access to all the skills it needs. So it has double class mastery, right? Hyaka Rorin, Oka Hoshin, and so on. So absolutely a very usable Sakura. And I'm going to play around with her for this weekend, in fact. I think I'm going to give up on my Varna, maybe, in favor of Sakura. Maybe I'll get rid of my Rene for Varna. So yeah, let's put my Varna back in, and there we go. So continue on. So this gives me, at the very least, this Sakura lets you play around with a character that I personally don't have built up at this point. So this should be fun. Alright, next, Varna. So this Varna has a Cursed Lance with a low attack increase, right? 5 attack there. Looks like a pass right there. There's just not enough attack for this Varna's 1000 arrows to do all that much damage. Yeah, at least that's how I see it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could work, because ultimately 1000 arrows is not meant to hit that hard. But still, I'd like to see more attack on any kind of AoE attacker in general. Or if not attack, it should have a lot of hit points. So we'll leave it and ignore it and move on. Shuri is not a PvP character, so very much a pass right there. This does have double class mastery, and it doesn't have last rites, so even less reason to bring it, in my opinion. So, but in the first place, I don't think, unless the Shuri is like perfectly built with Ragnarok, last rite, and so on, I would not even come close to considering using one. Next, Jessica. Rare character, has speed boots, so it's clearly more of a PvE. Jessica, pass. Next. Sonya, 3 SRs rather than SSRs, pass. And finally, Sophia, once again, 3 SRs rather than SSRs, so another pass. So, but nonetheless, surprisingly, there were 2 really usable and near top tier characters in the middle. They didn't have the highest power, which is why they're stuck in the middle, but they're quite good and definitely worth using. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this information useful. And on that note, Nitro out.